Alright, so for this lesson you should have already a basic understanding of major scales, and we're going to be working with the C scale as an example today. So if you don't have that already, go look at a video or learn about that, because you'll probably get a little confused if you don't have that knowledge already. So today I just wanted to break you into the idea of intervals, which is just one of the first things that you'll need to learn in music theory. An interval is the space between two notes. So that is one interval, and that's another interval, that's another interval. They're all called different things. Alright? So if you're in the major scale of C, it's pretty simple. You take the root note and go to the second note in the scale, and that's what we call a second. Then you take the root note, go to the third note in the scale, that's called a third. And then a fourth, and then a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, and an eighth. Alright, or an octave. Things that you need to know about the major, about these intervals is you have these are called major seconds and major thirds. When you get to the fourths and fifths, they're called perfect. Perfect fourth, perfect fifth. Then you have a major sixth, and a major seventh, and a perfect octave. Alright? So the fourth, the fifth, and the octave are all perfect. The rest of them are major. Alright? Now, intervals are important because we can now take this information and we can put it in a different key. Alright? So, for instance, if I wanted to take Mary Had a Little Lamb and go, right, that's in C. What if I wanted to do that in F? Right? It's the same amount of space between each note, and relative to the same song, you can recognize both of those songs are still Mary Had a Little Lamb. You're just singing one higher and one lower. Alright? So the difference here is that you're in a different key. And I like the keyboard because you'll notice when I have from here to here, that's a major second. From here to here is a major second. And there are the black notes in between them, so the keyboard's very visual about this. So if you notice, I put those three notes down. There are two black notes in between them. So if I go up to F, same amount of keys, 3 keys, all next to each other, and there are 2 black notes in between them. I know these are all major seconds. That's a major second. That's a major second. Major second, major second. Right? From F to A is a major third because it's in the scale of F. 1, 2, 3. So that's a major third. Major fourth. Well, actually a perfect fourth. Perfect fifth. And so on. So you can apply that to any scale. Even the black keys, if you go to D flat, that's a D flat. Go to a major second, that's one above it. In this scale. So the second note in the scale. So D flat, that's the second. D flat to F, that's the third. D flat to G flat, that's the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4, that's a fourth. Alright? There's another way you can do this, which is outside of the realm of knowing scales, which is just knowing the half steps and whole steps. A half step, if you'll remember, is just a key or note to the very next note. So if I go from this white one to this black one, that's a half step. If you'll notice at the top half of the keyboard from left to right, you have white, black, white, black. So pretending that there's not a bottom half for a minute, whatever the next key is, so even this white one to this white one, that's a half step. All those are half steps, right? A whole step then is basically one note, skip a half step, go to the next one, because 2 halves make a whole, right? So if this note to that note is actually a whole step. With me so far? That's a half step. That's a half step. Those 2 notes is a whole step. All whole steps, if you just go one to the next whole step, or one down to the next whole step, either way, that's called a major second, no matter where you are on the keyboard or in what scale. If you put 2 whole steps together, that's a major third. 2 whole steps and a half step, that's a perfect fourth. And so on, so you can figure out the rest on your own.